Welcome to the Orange Cactus Coffee Podcast with Mike Kincaid and Jake Goebel. Join them as they experience specialty coffee and document their journey. These friends explore roasts and roasting methods, brewing equipment and techniques, and review the cafes they visit along the way.
Thanks, Brioni, and thank you for joining us for episode 104 of the Orange Cactus Coffee Podcast, where Mike and I drink some La Colombe, talk about the new King Cup, get a brew tip of the week from Matthew Berry, and think about creator versus critic. I think it's a good one. Let's go ahead and jump right on in. Welcome to episode 104 of the Orange Cactus Coffee Podcast. I'm Jake Goebel. With me is Mike Kincaid. Can you bring up the show notes, Mikey? That way we have our talking points that are there. And I didn't know where you wanted to start, but I figured that maybe we should. This
professional.
Yeah. Maybe we should try and be pros over here.
That's all you got? Or is it just not synced yet?
It's just not synced yet.
I'll give it a moment.
Let's sync. I guess should we start with the brew tip of the week right away? Just right off the bat, or kind of banter a little bit for our intro here as we are wont to do.
We're waiting for technology to catch up.
For the one app, one close, one pro, one beat, one something, one life.
Says you were in here at 10:02.
Yeah. Well, that's disheartening. And you don't want to, be looking at that. You don't want to be bogged down with that. I should have just taken a picture of it. I don't have the OneNote on my phone. I should. You sent me the link. I just haven't done it yet.
Just go.
Don't know what it is.
Welcome.
Don't know what it is. Oh, well, welcome.
You got it on the computer.
Yeah, I definitely got it on the computer. So, but I sure appreciate you guys listening. The voice that you heard was the Mike Kincaid. I am Jake Goebel. Of course, we are not coffee pros. We delight. Oh yeah, there it is. But we are delighted to serve you and to try and give you infotainment. We've been making some big promises lately that we have yet to fulfill on, like some more videos, some more daily ristrettos. I feel a little overwhelmed with the massive amount of content that we're trying to produce, that we're trying to share, and that we're trying to get out there. And then combine that with all the different requests and emails and messages. It almost feels like I'm singing the same song here, because I just have yet to have the time to get into that, and trying to serve and trying to deliver and trying to, give you what you want, which is a great cup of coffee. So
that's it.
All that to say, I'm going to start off here. Let me see those notes again there, buddy. What are those notes? Are we going to start? Let's just start with the brew tip of the week then. I'll just start with the...
Well, do you want to start? Okay.
Yes, we'll start with the brew tip.
Let's just start. Should we start?
Let's just start with the brew tip of the week.
Should we begin right now? Can we rerun the beginning music loop? That'd be good?
Yeah. Give me a second.
Yeah. Nice. Good job.
And now there's the brew tip of the week jingle. Brew tip of the week. Perfect.
All right.
Okay, so we're going to give you some of those. All right. Matthew Berry reached out to us, and he said it was okay that I throw his name out.
Oh, that's good. You got permission?
I got permission, and I'm also going to create a blog post for it.
More content.
Promising to deliver. More content that I'm promising to
good.
deliver that I want. I even took pictures of it when I tried this yesterday. But so here's the deal. Matthew Berry, Matt, sent this to us. He was listening to the Coffee Lovers podcast, and they talked about an extended bloom, like a 5-minute bloom.
5 minutes?
I enjoyed it. Figured he'd check it out. So he used the King Cup, and there's only one order left, pretty much. Is that right? For the old King Cup. There's one bag left. We've got one sitting here. If you check it on YouTube, you can see it. It's leaving today, and it's going to Sweden. Thank you, John.
It's awesome.
Much love.
International.
Much love, John.
Top in the pond.
It's on its way. Right? It's on its way to you today. Today. Well, you probably will already have it. Hopefully you already have it. If not, you'll have it tomorrow by the time this comes out, because when we're recording is before the show comes out. So that makes sense. Okay. So he rocked 20 grams of the King Cup in the Aeropress, added 30 grams of water, and stirred. Waited 5 minutes.
5 minutes.
Then plunged the mix into a V60 and brewed it like normal, adding another 280 grams of water, which ended up putting him, 320 grams total.
Mm-hmm.
Got to check it out. So
you tried it?
So I tried it.
So what happened? You make a mess?
No, I didn't. But I was a little confused. I was like, so are we pouring the sludge in there? Is it going to be twice filtered? You know what I mean? At first I was thinking it was going to be double filtered, like it was going to be a super concentrated shot and then add water. And then he was kind enough to say, okay, you're an idiot. Let me break it down for you shotgun style. Open the top and just plop out the grounds into the V60. You know, you pre-wet the filter and then you get the immersion. Those grounds are all saturated, and then you just plop it out, bloop, right into the V60, and then you pour it regular. And so I've been doing the Rayo method for the V60 lately. What that means is we do a bloom, and then we do excavation,
yeah.
And then you do a single pour, and then a swipe around the top with the spoon to try and get the grounds off the side.
Okay.
And then you let it drain. One pour, single pour.
Single pour.
So for this one, this is what I did.
What'd you do?
I did the V6. I did the V60. I'm such an idiot. I did the Aeropress.
Okay.
I put the grams in there. I did the water. I gave it a stir. I let it sit for 5 minutes.
5 minutes.
Then
you didn't forget about it.
I didn't forget about it.
That's
I set the timer, and then I got the V60 ready. I pre-wet the filter, and then I plopped those grounds into the V60.
Plopped,
and then I tried to do the Rayo method, but I didn't feel like I needed to excavate because there was already an immersion.
No need
of it.
Yeah.
Here's the biggest difference that I noticed. Like, I don't know if I could have told a difference in if I could have distinguished a difference in the flavor, although it seemed to have a little more body. I don't know if that makes sense.
Maybe.
Like, it was a Kenyan that I used.
Oh.
And it had more body to it than when I just did a regular V60. Like, there was more bass to go along with those high notes. But what's interesting is that when I brewed that, because I did it the day before, just a regular V60, and I had a good flat bed of wet sand when I was done.
The normal method.
That's what it looked like, the normal Rayo method.
The normal Rayo. Standard Rayo.
But after this one, I had a flat bed of mud.
So same grind.
Same grind, same everything. Same everything. The only thing that changed was the immersion method before.
Interesting.
Any thoughts on that? So the flavor was a little bit different.
Was it better?
I don't know. I haven't spent enough time with that coffee enough to know whether it was better. But initially, I would say that I think I like the regular method better because just a little bit of the high notes, but it was definitely different.
Yeah.
Like, I could see if you could combine, well, I like the V60 and I like the Chemex for African coffees because they bring out some of the more of the fruitiness there, right? Yeah. But then I like the flat bottom Kalita because it gives me a little more body, a little more base with the South American coffees and Sumatras, things I'm going to put a little cream and sugar in, right? Like kind of the saguaro flavored cup. And I felt like this was a way, if you had the Aeropress and you had the V60, you could get a full bodied cup out of the V60. You could almost duplicate.
I see.
And
by doing the bloom,
improve upon what the Kalita gives you.
Well, maybe
by doing an immersion bloom.
Doing that immersion bloom is similar, just on a more pronounced level, right? Of what happens in a flat bottom.
Yeah.
Because that I think allows for a better saturation of the grounds. It's a little easier. Yeah. The water can pool up just a little bit, right? To kind of permeate more.
Yeah.
And maybe that's what you're kind of replicating. So that's one of the things that I did like about the December dripper is I would close it, fill it up, and then let it sit. So none of the water escaped. So I knew
make it immersion and then let it drain.
Yeah, and I didn't have to worry because the thing is, right, when you're doing the bloom with a pour over, you have to be very careful on where you pour.
Yeah.
Because if you accidentally pour too much here, too little here, and you're only doing 50, 60 grams.
Yeah, you don't get enough water.
You might not have enough water because you're not pouring it efficiently. So
yeah. The other thing that I really enjoyed about it was fun. The process was fun.
Trying something new.
Coffee was fun.
Yeah, it is.
Like here, I'm using the Aeropress and I'm using the V60. I'm doing kind of a combo platter over here, a combo brew method. It was fun. So Matthew sent this crazy thing our way, and I was like, dude, let's do it. And the only thing I wanted to do was record it at the same time.
Yeah.
But I didn't it was, using two different dripper or two different brew methods, and I needed my hands.
I
needed my hands. Yeah, I needed a tripod. But then here's another thing, and maybe you can answer this for me. My daughter was practicing her piano in the background.
Oh yeah.
Should I have done it anyways? Because I didn't want to make her stop. Because I'm not that kind of dad. I'm not going to be like, stop, baby, daddy needs to record a video. You know what I mean?
You're not?
No.
Oh.
No, not when she's practicing piano. But then at the same time, maybe it would have been a nice background music. What would you have done? What would you, in the future, when I want to record this video, thinking about quality, thinking about all these things, what should I do? Should I have her stop, or should I just let her keep playing?
I think what I would do would not be the right thing to do.
You would have had her stop?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because not just for audio quality, but it would have distracted me.
Yeah.
And so okay, I would have made more of it than it should have been. Yeah. And really, I think people probably would have enjoyed just seeing, right, you essentially vlogging yourself making coffee and talking about it.
Right.
This is my house. This is what's going on. Kids playing piano. You know what I mean? It's a little more approachable and real. Yeah. And I think that always connects.
I should have done it. All right, I'm going to do it next time.
You should have just done yourself.
Just done it.
Just done yourself.
Yeah.
Just do it.
Just do you.
Just do you.
Yeah.
And leave it there.
Yeah.
But that's great. Thanks for the tip. I've tried extended blooms accidentally when I forgot about the coffee.
Yeah.
I don't know. The other thing the only negative I can think of is your thermal, can't think of the word, your flux capacitor.
The temperature goes down over those 5 minutes. That sludge is cold by the time you get it out.
Mm-hmm. So your thermal consistency, how, it's cooled off completely. And maybe even more so now that it's wet. There's maybe a little evaporation going on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? And so I don't know if that has a negative impact. Maybe there's a sweet spot.
Yeah.
Or a max, a minute max or whatever. I know the brewer, right, that you bought me, the Be-More Brazen.
Oh, yeah, the Brazen.
You can do up to a 4-minute bloom. But it's a big batch.
Does it continue to add water during that bloom, or it just waits?
No, it just waits.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Well, let me think here. It adds water every, I think, 15 seconds, I want to say. I think it adds an ounce every 15 seconds. So, yeah, it only does so much, but then it will just wait longer. Idea being is it allows more.
Yeah.
It allows it to saturate a little longer.
Yeah, yeah.
Or let the bloom calm down, which I found beneficial because sometimes super active coffee in a batch brewer is a fight.
Yeah.
It's a cage match.
Yeah.
And if you can let it calm down before you start the brewing process,
then you'd be better off.
You might actually get a decent pot.
Yeah.
With super active coffee.
Yeah. Okay.
Super active.
Yeah. That makes sense.
So
that makes sense.
Try it. Let us know what you think.
Yeah.
Let it bloom. Or if you forget about it, just
let it bloom. Let it bloom. Okay. I don't know what it bloom. No. Let it take up the whole room. Let it bloom. Let it bloom. But anyways, moving along. There's another something or other that was referred to us on the Twitters.
I want to start drinking though.
And it was this drink that was called La Colombe.
Don't mispronounce it.
Who is it? La Colombe?
La Colombe.
B? La Colombe.
I think your Colombe.
Somebody recommended the La Colombe to us.
But there's no
did that?
tilde. What do they call it?
I don't remember who recommended it to us.
I don't remember either, but you're right. Somebody has. I've seen it for some time.
Was it Manny?
Well,
was it John?
I can't remember his name. I feel bad. We should have been better prepared.
Somebody recommended the La Colombe.
Somebody did. They said it was actually pretty good. So if that was you, thank you.
Yeah, whoever it was, thank you. But
you know who you are.
It was this, and I went looking for it.
Did you?
The La Colombe, and
failed.
I ended up. Well, what turned me off, to be real honest with you, was the cold pressed espresso.
Yeah, I saw that
claim. I want to talk about that real quick.
Well, so you're referring to what it says here on the can, right? This is we got a couple of them in front of us. Mocha, draft latte, frothed milk, cold pressed espresso, and dark chocolate.
That's it right there. Cold pressed espresso. Okay. What is that?
It's espresso that was pressed with...
Cold?
Yeah, cold.
I don't know how that works. How do you cold press espresso?
Let's find out. How do you Oh, man.
How do you hot press espresso? Well, espresso, to the best of my knowledge, is this. Hot water.
Okay.
Forced over coffee. Pressure. It's 9 bars of pressure that's forced over a small portion of coffee, right? In a portafilter. That water, hot water, is taken and forced over it in like 30 seconds. If you have, typically there's probably about a 10-second pre-infusion if you have a good espresso machine where the water drains in and kind of pre-wets everything.
Yeah.
And then they force the water through. But it's hot water.
It's hot water.
And it's 9 bars of pressure.
With pressure.
So my question is, what is cold pressed espresso?
So I'm on their website right now.
Can you get 9 bars of pressure out of, I guess you could use cold water.
You could.
In one of these manual presses like Manny has. Remember the Forge? Could you just put cold water in the Forge?
Here, it just says expertly roasted, cold pressed, and then in capital, Nisa espresso.
So Nisa, is that a brand? Or
let's find out
I don't know
what that is.
So Nisa espresso. But again, is espresso a roast? Is it a blend? Is it a brew method? Because if you look across the coffee
Google
world,
thinks I'm trying to say
pizza espresso.
Pizza.
Yeah. Because it seems to be used for a lot of different things.
That's funny.
So the coffee snob in me says, no, espresso is a brew method. But if you go to Starbucks, they might have an espresso roast. That just means, right, it's roasted really, really dark.
It's just one of
their offerings, their beans. Okay. So how do you cold press espresso?
Yeah, I'm not getting much here.
And how do you cold press espresso in the type of volume that it takes to make cans of it?
Because in their little infograph on their website for the draft latte, they show beans, a portafilter, and an espresso cup.
They do.
Implying that an espresso process is used, right? So it's a good question. Maybe we should reach out to them.
Are you sitting there pulling shots all day? I think I reached out to one of them. I can't remember what company it was, but they said it was very similar. They said cold pressed espresso.
I remember that.
And Twitter, and they said, well, it's just
cold brew, concentrated cold
brew.
Yeah, it's just a concentrated cup of coffee.
That is not cold pressed espresso. I'm sorry, it's not. It's just not.
See, because this says on the back too, perfectly frothed milk, a shot of cold pressed espresso.
Oh, so we froth the milk first, and then we put it in there?
Yeah, well, it's just saying what's in here.
And
I don't think there's any particular order.
Once it gets cold,
well, let's try it.
It's not frothed anymore, is it?
So in this can is 2 cups of coffee, it says.
Okay.
160 natural milligrams of caffeine.
And it's got so it's a typical can. It's 9 fluid ounces, so it's a smaller size than like a soda can.
It's like a Red Bull.
It's like a Red Bull, just a little taller or a little fatter. It's a little bigger than a Red Bull.
America deserves better coffee.
It really does. But then also on top of that, there is a rubber lid that they call a sip-through lid. Is it plastic?
I'm getting a bloom.
Yeah.
Mine's blooming.
So
I think it's plastic.
You can take this off and you can drink it like a regular can, or you can leave it on and sip through this plastic thing. I don't understand why you would want this plastic ring around the top.
It's a sip-through lid.
Granted, it's a sip-through lid. Why do you want the sip-through lid instead of just drinking out of the regular can?
You can take it off and wash it and put it back on. You don't have to put your lips on the dirty can like you just did.
Yeah, you don't put your lips on the dirty can. You put your lips on the dirty plastic.
No, because you wash it.
Oh, you wash it first, and then you put it back on.
That's all I got.
Okay.
That's my only.
So is it perfectly frothed? There does seem to be some frothiness to it.
There is, because it says
there's some texture, and it says do not shake.
Yeah, don't shake.
That leads me to believe that there's some sort of something in there.
There is. A draft. It has infused with food-grade nitrous oxide for
nitro.
So
they put a little bit of nitro in there to give it that frothiness. But it's not frothed milk.
Cafe style. Okay, so that word is distinctive that I'm struggling with. Infused with food grade nitrous oxide for distinctive cafe style froth creamy texture.
Yeah.
So it's distinctive. It's cafe style.
Right.
It's,
so they got reduced fat milk, cold pressed coffee, water and coffee, cane sugar, chicory root extract, cocoa powder, sodium phosphate, natural flavor, and gellan gum.
This is cold brew with nitro and milk.
That's it.
That's what it is.
And chocolate.
And they call it a draft latte.
Okay, so for all the nitpicking that I'm doing to La Colombe, and I still believe that this is a little deceitful, perfectly frothed milk. No, it's not. It's nitro and milk. It's nitro in there. A shot of cold pressed espresso. Doesn't even exist. Dark chocolate. Whatever. The full taste and feel of a true mocha. Yes. This is awesome.
It's good.
This is very, very good.
I don't know if it has the feel. The taste is there.
The taste is there. They're doing something right.
It's pretty good.
That nitro froth, there's some texture there when you're drinking it, you know? Maybe the sip through lid adds a little bit of texture because it kind of gets beat up. It aerates a little bit on the way to your mouth.
Yeah. I like when my drink gets beat up on the way to my mouth.
But I got to tell you, this La Colombe is legit.
It's pretty good.
From like the cold brew cold wars that we've tried.
Because you can do that.
This is hands down pretty much the best. Yeah, do that again, will you?
I'm serious. That takes it to a whole new level.
Yeah.
It like you reignite, refroth the milk. It enhances the flavor.
The sip through lid enhances the feel. You don't feel like you're drinking out of a can.
Exactly.
You feel like you're drinking out of a coffee cup, a takeaway cup. I'm feeling more fancy with the lid. In fact, as much as I sound like a hater, I am really loving this.
This is pretty good. It is. It's not too sweet either.
It's sweeter with the lid. I don't know how that works. It's sweeter with the lid. Or maybe it's sweeter the closer I get to the bottom.
That's what they call perceived sweetness. Maybe because you're not supposed to shake, but maybe there was a little settling.
I shook it. You're not supposed to shake it, but I shook it.
Yeah.
Because I didn't read before I started shaking. Yeah. This is wow. I got to tell you.
7 grams of protein.
I'm digging it. Woo, I'm getting my gains at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting my gains while I'm drinking coffee. I love this.
Yeah, this is pretty good.
So, I still think it's deceitful, but man, is it good.
Well, it's a play on words, but maybe, I don't know. Maybe people connect better with it. But they say, I was just looking.
They say what? Because it's really good. I want another one.
I got it at Sprouts.
Okay, so, but towards the bottom, the sip through lid is not helping me. It's getting all over my face.
So they're comparing theirs to one that is powdered milk, 26 grams of sugar, instant coffee, and water. And it's oddly in the shape of a Starbucks glass.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it is better than the Frappuccino bottles.
The Frappuccino Starbucks offerings. Theirs is no sugar added. All right? No sugar added.
Man, I'm doing a bang up job over
What are you
here.
doing over here?
I'm licking this thing clean. Because I can't see myself on camera. I feel like the camera can't see me. But the camera can totally see me. La Colombe.
La Colombe's draft latte delivers the frothy latte texture you'd expect in a cafe and the refreshing convenience of a chilled can. We use nitrous oxide to create a consistently silky, thick texture. A specially designed sip-through lid heightens the experience with every sip.
Both of those things are true, and I didn't think I was going to like it. I was pretty pessimistic when I saw you come over with another can. I was like, oh, no. Not this again. Not this again.
They have different flavors, too.
I'm ready to try them all now. I am ready to try them all. One can is $12, or is that a case?
That's for 4. I think I got these for $3 at Sprouts.
$3 a piece?
They're on sale.
They're pretty good.
Or wait, Sprouts. Yes,
That's legit. La Colombe is legit.
That was good.
What's next?
That was good.
What's next on our hit list here? I'm all pumped up now. I'm highly caffeinated.
We could have another one.
Did you buy more?
No, we'd have to go to the store.
Oh, I don't have time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that. I got bronchitis. Nobody got time for that.
I would take this though over a busy for sure.
Just because you could actually get a hold of it, or because when you put out your money, you actually got something, or what? I don't understand the distinction here.
Well, here's the thing. They're competing, and for the most part, they're in the same price point, but they have an addition. They're adding this guy, right? Because they think it improves the experience.
I think it does.
And that's cutting into their cost. Maybe not much, but they had to have this tool designed and now put on every can.
Yeah, it does. It does add to the experience. I tried it both ways.
And so
I went both ways on it.
I think that's cool. That's kind of in the spirit of what we're all about.
Yeah.
Doing things the hard way, the better way, even if it means
less profit.
Yeah.
Yeah. La Colombe, I salute you. It was good. And I was hating. Well, I still hate on the fact that you say cold pressed espresso. What is cold pressed espresso?
Maybe we're just ignorant, but
because I watched the video. Like, remember that one dude I called him out on Twitter? He sent me the video. It was nothing in there. It was a big cold brew vats.
Yeah.
That look, if it's cold brew, if it's concentrated cold brew, that's fine. But just say that. Don't tell me it's espresso.
Exactly. That I would agree with you on that. However, I do also like, they call it a draft latte instead of a nitro.
Yeah.
I think that captures the spirit of the quality.
I think so too.
You know what I mean? Like it just sounds like a better quality drink.
Yeah.
And it is.
Well, and I also think that it's not as much nitro as some of the other ones, I
think you're right.
Yeah.
You're not attacked by the nitro. It complements the chocolate and the coffee, and it just kind of gives it a good texture.
Yeah.
Well done.
All right.
Well done.
All right. What's next?
That's it.
No, there's more that we got to talk about. Are we talking about the King Cup next? What are we doing here?
So
the King Cup. Okay. So there is one as we are recording this.
I'm shivering.
There is one King Cup left, the old one, the Barakabuna, the Ethiopian.
One bag.
There's one bag left. John has one right here, and there's one more order, right? That's you updated the Shopify.
Yeah, I did it.
There's one left. So by the time you hear this, there may not be any left. But we have two other coffees that we are going to present to the world here.
To the world.
And
well, I got 9 samples as a recap, just briefly.
9.
I ordered 9 samples.
I only drank 8.
I know. Oh. One of the samples, a couple of weeks went by before we could get to it. And so I said, well, before I roast all these, let me make sure they're still available. One of them was no longer available. So
you took that out.
Removed it.
Oh, yeah. What was it?
Roasted up the other. It was a Kenyan.
Oh, okay. Another Kenyan. So it was 3 Kenyans, 1 Ethiopian, and then
1 Costa Rican.
1 Costa Rican, 1 Colombian, and a bunch of Honduras.
And 3 Honduras, 3 or 4, 3. So anyways, yes, you had 8. So I roasted all 8. Did little simple, just kind of sample roasts, and gave you half. And I took half, and we've been living with them for a few days.
Yeah.
Trying them different ways, trying them with different people.
Yeah.
And
came to the exact same conclusion.
And it was kind of neat. I don't think we planned that.
No.
We just said, here, we're so busy, take this.
Because you told me you had your favorites.
I said, yeah, I did.
But
I didn't tell you what they were.
You didn't tell me what they were, and we decided to not share that information with each other.
Yeah, I kind of wanted you to try it without any influence.
And I tried it with Jay Dizzle and his wife Rio, and my wife April. The 4 of us drank all 8 coffees at the same time, which you said not to do, but we wanted to do anyways because it sounded like fun.
I said not to mix them.
Oh, I didn't mix them.
Didn't put them all in a French press.
Yeah, put them all in one French press, and drank it and says, well, it's a little muted. It's a little muddled. The flavor's there. I'm not getting a whole lot of peach. But there's some lingering juice.
I can definitely taste the Kenyan in there.
The
natty's coming to play.
So what I brewed 200 grams of water, 200 grams of water, and then everybody got 40, 40, 40, 40, 42, good. 42, 42, 42. Because by the time we got the coffee out, it was like 180 out, divided by 4, something along those lines.
Yeah, so you divided it equally.
Yes.
Little small cups.
Try to. Little small cups.
Is that 4 ounce, 6, 8?
They're about 2 ounces a piece. Maybe just under 2 ounces a piece. So we went, under 2 ounces a piece. But we drank them all, no cream, no sugar, because we wanted to know, are they going to be the King Cup? And it was like, if my head was on the line, if His Majesty, whomever, brought me in and said, you have one shot to brew me a cup of coffee, and it better be wow right now, or off with his head, would it pass the muster there? Or, which one would you bring?
Pass the muster.
Pass the muster.
What is that?
Muster?
Muster. Is that when you go to, it's like a test?
I think
right?
so.
It's
pass Should we just use the word test instead?
Inspect your bed and your living quarters.
Yes, I love that.
Is that what it is?
Yes, I used to do that a lot. So, in which surprisingly, the very first coffee, all of us were like, well, this is a Saguaro, not a King Cup. What is this doing here? And that was the Colombia Nariño. Yeah. And all of us thought that.
Very good. I almost wanted to buy that too.
You should have bought it for a Saguaro. It's good.
Let's just buy them all.
It's good. Let's buy them all. What do you need to make a profit for? Get out of here. But the two that we all liked, actually there was three that we liked. And I texted you and I said in no particular order.
You did.
But I wanted a Kenyan because we've never had a Kenyan before.
It's exciting.
And so I sent you three. The Kenya Daitu, the Honduras Aquilino,
probably helped.
The Honduras
Las Botas.
Las Botillas.
Probably helped having JD.
Right? Yeah. Oh, Jay Dizzle was great. Jay Dizzle was great. Helped me with the pronunciation. But remember, his Spanish is a little different than some of the other
varies,
Spanishes. Yeah. Some of the different lingos. Like he's like, well, this is missing an accent over here. An accent mark or whatever.
Yeah.
On some of them. But yeah, it was really good.
That's cool.
And then based on my feedback to you, you pulled the trigger on the Kenya AA Daitu and the Honduras Aquilino.
Yeah.
What I liked about the Aquilino more than the Las Botillas was the spelling of the word Aquilino. Good. The QU looks cool.
Comes down to the name.
But the Las Botillas was fantastic.
It was very good
as well.
It was very good.
Fantastic. Yep. What made you pick Aquilino over Las Botillas?
Well, I had them both again, and I took a little liberty as the head roaster.
With the only roaster, but okay, the head roaster sounds good.
I felt I could pull out some more
flavors from this one.
Yeah, okay. I just got a little bit more in the King Cup category. I think it can be a little more, acidic and capture your taste buds a little more in that respect.
It was nice to have the genuine origin sheets.
Yeah, the fact sheets.
The fact sheets that you brought
They're
with
making
us.
Big changes. Just another shout out to them. They redid their site. They've got better ratings on there. They've got more information. Every coffee, I think, has as much information as I need. It even gives you the moisture content and stuff,
It was so cool. I almost just want to just copy it and throw it on our coffees. You know what I mean? Like I try to work with some of the things, make it fit our format and everything, but we don't give all the information that Genuine Origin does. And I was almost wondering, maybe we should just like keep these as PDFs and post them on our page and just like link back to them.
Yeah.
Like the digital PDFs, like, cause Genuine Origin, obviously when this coffee is gone, they're going to remove it from their page. So we couldn't link to it cause it's going to be gone.
Yeah.
Before we sell out of our coffee, most likely.
Well, we could definitely provide, I think, green bean information. Now, as a roaster, even though they have notes on here that get you going in the right direction, when we roast it and dial it in, it could be slightly different. And most likely it will be.
Yeah.
And so that's one thing that I caution, and I've been cautioned by, even people like Scott Rayo and other green buyers, is do not just take what they say you should get and put it,
and throw it out there.
Because it might not be what your roast produces.
Yeah. And not necessarily in that order. Like I'll reorder the flavors if we're getting more stone fruit pronounced.
What stands out to us?
Then we'll throw that out there. Like this one is caramel. The Aquilino. Let's look at the Honduras Aquilino. They've got flavor notes of caramel, brown spice, and mandarin orange. Well, first of all, I don't know what brown spice is. I'm sure there's a standard somewhere for brown spice. There has to be, right? Because that's what Q-rated roasters do. And cuppers, Q-rated cuppers, right? Not Q-rated roasters, Q-rated cuppers. Mm-hmm. They have, a standard somewhere for brown spice. I don't know what brown spice is. No idea. The body is big and clean. The aroma is orange blossom and fruity, and the acidity is bright.
Yeah.
And I thought it was a great coffee.
For me, I use the notes to get me in the right camp.
Yeah.
Like, okay, you know what I mean? I don't take them literal. Sometimes you get hit in the face with a literal. Okay.
The blueberries to the face.
I get that. And other times it's more, okay, I see what they're getting. I think I connect it there.
Yeah.
I'm getting the sweet peas. Type of thing.
Well, and then on the front, it says notes of mandarin orange, papaya, and baking spice are highlighted by an intense tropical fruit sweetness. There's no papaya on the back page.
Yeah.
No papaya. Caramel instead. But it was nice. And the ladies enjoyed having the flavor notes there as well because they were like, oh, I get that. My wife especially. Oh, I taste that. And Rio enjoyed it as well. moving on, unless there's something else you want to say about the Honduras Aquilino.
I think it's an excellent coffee. I'm really excited to get the order in and roasting it, playing around with the profile and highlighting what we think are the best properties.
So the Kenya AA Thaitu.
Thaitu?
Thaitu.
Double A. Thaitu.
Double A Thaitu.
That's the grade. Thaitu.
The flavor notes of caramel, grapes, and brown spices again. A medium body, tropical fruits, and grapefruit for the aroma and a delicate acidity. Mm-hmm. This is what I took most. This is the most interesting thing from this fact sheet, though, that I would like to share with you right now. This coffee comes from the family-owned Thaitu Coffee Estate in Nakuru County. Incredibly scenic and close to the equator, Nakuru is neighbors with Mount Kenya National Park to its east, Lake Victoria to its west, and the Serengeti National Park to the south. Say what? Oh, my coffee comes from the Serengeti. You just...
To the south.
When you watch the Serengeti on National Geographic, the first thought that comes to your mind is not, ooh, I bet they got some great coffee right there. But lo and behold, they have awesome coffee right there. It's incredible.
Yeah,
so
up in the mountains.
I don't know how much coffee is grown out there on the Serengeti or where the Serengeti National Park. I'm sure it extends to, much larger areas than are just shown on the National Geographic.
The harsh,
National Geographic. National Geographic documentaries.
Very good.
However, it was cool.
It is cool.
And I want to call it the Serengeti.
This came from the desert.
This AA Thaitu is part of the Serengeti.
What's cool about both of these,
straight out of Serengeti,
and all of the samples, is they're all micro lots.
Yes.
They're all micro lots. Yeah. And, this even tells you how many people contribute to it. This one's one family.
Well, it's a little, but this one's
3 producers. The Aquilino is 3 producers.
You always get more information from the South American coffees than you do from the Kenyans, the African coffees.
It could be true, or that could be because of how they have to.
I think it's how they sell it, how they export
and the laws.
It says all coffees in Kenya travel through the central auction, a highly competitive and transparent marketplace that offers a large number of individual lots, each unique in grade and cut profile, to a concentration of export buyers like Genuine Origin sister company Taylor Winch. What I like about Genuine Origin is they're transparent with everything, though. Like, they give you as much information as they have, but if they don't have it, they kind of tell you how they get it, where they get it from, family-owned Thaitu Coffee Estate. You're helping out the Thaitu family.
Yeah.
When you buy this. Producers, like you said, 3.
They even give you
3 different ones. And they give you a map.
Not on here, but the other ones had all the producers listed.
Yes.
You see like pages, 14 producers, So I thought that was cool.
It's very cool.
It's a little overwhelming at first, but then the more you interact with it, the more you kind of pick out what matters to you.
The more you stare at these fact sheets, the more you get it.
Yeah. So we've got 65 pounds of each coming, and hopefully we'll have that dialed in and be making it available.
Yeah.
I'm excited. It's fun.
That's the goal.
Coffee's fun.
That's the goal, yeah. And so I need to get on my JOB because with the Saguaro ones, we had the beans. And then finally, we had the cards and we had everything ready to go. And it was kind of like, Jake, pick up the pace. And now I'm feeling the pressure because the beans are on the way.
Yeah.
They're on their way. So I need to get these cards ready to go.
Yeah.
But how am I going to dial in the flavor notes on the cards before you dial the coffee in?
You can't.
Okay, so I'm just going to wing it.
So you're gonna have to wait a little bit.
Well, I've got these 2 coffees upstairs. I can drink them a little more.
Yeah.
Kind of see what I'm getting here the most.
Well, and it depends on how, even though we list flavor notes, it's not necessarily, I don't know.
The end all be all.
Exactly.
It's a guide.
And it's going to vary on the water you use, on the way you brew it. And
what do you mean the water you use? I send you third wave water packets to put into all of your distilled water so you can make coffee with it.
Well, if you utilize those, then you should get kind of what we're
same thing we're getting.
Laying down.
Same thing we're getting over here.
So
that's what we do.
So that's an update. I don't know. Do we want to roll into some of the business for those that want to know?
Yeah. We did the brew tip of the week. We did the coffee that we've got coming out. We're at 38 minutes-ish here. What else do we got on there? We did the Brew Tip. We did creator versus critic and a business update. Yeah. I want to talk just real quick about the creator versus critic. Many of you know. Okay, let me start over again.
I will go.
Many of you have heard of C.S. Lewis, and have heard
most famously known for
The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, Chronicles of Narnia.
Chronicles of Narnia.
Yeah, well, that's just one of the many.
Is that
books.
the subtitle?
No, it's the first book that he wrote in that series.
It's called The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe.
The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. It's kind of the most famous.
Are they all
one.
part of the Chronicles of Narnia?
Yes, not
so
all
that's
the
like
books
the series. No, but
the series is the Chronicles of Narnia. Book 2 is The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. Book 1 is actually the book that he wrote last. The Magician's Nephew, or maybe second to last.
Isn't one Prince Caspian too?
Prince Caspian, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. You got it. Wow, you're so good. So he has a kind of a famous essay that he wrote about being a critic and being a creator. Yeah. And Jeff Goins has moved that theory forward. He's kind of got I'll find it and I'll link to it in the show notes. But lately there's been this push kind of on the internet where it says you can't do both. You cannot be a creator and a critic at the same time. And especially in food, they're kind of like there's critics and then there's chefs. Like there's not a crossover. Like I'm going to give you a rating, based on your performance. You're the one that's doing the work. And I find, and the only reason why I bring that up is because I feel like our journey, as we have explored specialty coffee and documented the journey, we've found ourselves crossing over into both worlds. Like
crossing over?
Yeah.
We upside down?
We just critiqued La Colombe.
Yeah.
We're critics of cold brew and coffee that we get, but then we're also creators. We're trying to roast coffee. Who knows? We might like to have a ready-to-drink can.
Draft latte
sometime in the future. That's kind of the goal, right? I mean, we want to have a cafe.
It's also lactose-free.
We want to. Oh, perfect. Is it gluten-free? We want to do all these things, but then at the same time, we're experiencing and tasting everything and reporting back to you. Mm-hmm. So then where does that leave us in this halfway between creator and critic role? Can we do both?
Messy middle.
Are we just in the messy middle, or should we try and eliminate one and focus on the other?
I don't think you can separate them. I really don't. I don't think you can truly separate them. Now, professionally, yes. And maybe that's a different conversation. Professionally, you could say, right, if you're a chef or a roaster, it's hard at some point to be a professional, full-on chef and also have a column or a resource that you publish and critique others.
I just don't know if you would have the time.
Well, I'm just saying that would be hard.
Yeah.
That would be hard because you have a conflict of interest that could potentially happen. For others, right, if you rate others negatively because you want to elevate yourself.
Yeah.
Or you think you're better just because who doesn't, you're going to be harder on others. You know what I mean? There could be potentially a conflict of interest professionally, but how could you separate that completely? The reason you're a chef and you're good at it is because you've probably been inspired by others, because you've critiqued others, you've been fascinated, right? Mm-hmm. And so it's that lifelong journey of wanting to do better and enjoying and experiencing that with other people, other dishes. Yeah. It's the same thing for roasting. I think at some point, I don't know, it's hard. I'm saying professionally to do both, but you can never not do it. I can't ever taste someone else's roast and not critique it.
Right.
I can't.
Right.
I'm doing it and I'm comparing it against mine. Is this better? What do I taste? Are there things I can learn? Are there things that I don't want to do?
So then when you come on the show and you say coffee is good or bad, is that dishonest? Or
preference.
Is it a conflict of interest for us?
It could become at some point.
Do you think it is right now?
I don't think so. Not yet. Do you think
that because we've been so transparent and everything and we operate under the illusion or the fact or whatever, the premise that a rising tide lifts all boats, that we want to promote great coffee no matter at what expense it comes to us? You know what I mean?
Well, the difference...
Like we've had people say, hey, thank you for your recommendations. I'm buying their coffee.
Yeah. Great.
And that is great. Like
I think
they bought our coffee. They bought other people's coffee based on our recommendations. I'm not mad at them for that. I think it's great coffee. I think they're going to enjoy that coffee.
That's what we want them to do. Well, I think this is not meant to be the profession. That's the difference. That means that when we sit down and we review and we talk about coffee and we do the podcast, we do the videos, it has a sole purpose of just helping others have better coffee because we want better coffee.
Yeah.
That's it. We're not looking, this isn't going to be like, we never set out for this to be the end all. The end all is to have our own cafe, to have our own roastery.
Yeah.
This is not a profession.
Multiple cafes. Take over the world.
You see what I'm saying? Like this isn't, I think that's where, if we were to say, yes, we're going to have a professional platform by which we rate other coffees. And we want to be known in the community as somebody that you can trust. And
I thought we did. I thought we wanted to give them like 3 cactuses or 3 out of 5 cactuses.
That's fine, but we're not looking to generate income through it.
How many cactuses did we give Colombe here?
That's right up there.
Yeah, I'm thinking I'm giving it a 5 out of 5 for pre-made coffee out of a can.
It would come to the point where they would send us this, right? And say, here, review this, and then we want to sponsor you, and we want to give you $5,000 a month to do that. And then on the side, we then are also trying, that's when it gets a little murky.
What do you mean? What are we doing on the side? Trying to sell our own?
Roast our own. And then, it's a tough conversation and I don't have the answer. I'm just saying, I think professionally there comes a point when it could be hard to do both.
But at the moment, you don't see a problem because we're kind of nobodies.
I don't have a problem with Bobby Flay doing Bobby Flay and then him, he's a critic of everything.
Yeah.
He tells you how to have your eggs or not, or this restaurant or that, because that's who he is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can't separate them. But I do think there's a point you have to consider that you have your own product and that what you say, and I think if you're honest, like we are, for the most part, we try to focus on what we like.
Yeah.
And I think that's a key, right? We don't just sit here and say, oh, these are all garbage. We don't like these. We really don't like those reviews.
Because we have ours over here for you.
Yeah. Don't go there. This is better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We've had bad reviews, but we mostly don't like doing them.
Yeah.
We really don't.
Yeah.
Unless it's busy.
Yeah. Well, it's a whole other topic.
Oh,
It's a whole other topic. What's the next point? I
don't know. What you want to stop there? We're done?
Yeah.
Creator versus critic?
Yeah, you cruised. You ruined it. You ruined it by bringing up busy.
Oh, okay. See? There you go. The case in point. You can't be a creator and a critic.
Oh, yeah.
At some point, you get burned.
Business stuff.
So anyway, I just want to give you an update. Some things that we've learned.
Yeah.
We are finally legit.
What?
Well,
we're legit
kind of.
business? We got our own everything?
Well, after a year, a little over, we decided what do we need to do to actually lock down the business side of things?
Yes.
And we did a little research, talked to 2 different CPAs just to get some general guidance, which we always recommend that you do.
I did more than talking to a CPA.
Well, that's fine, but it consisted of talking to a CPA. And so what we say is definitely not legal advice.
It is not.
We are not CPAs.
No, we're telling you a story.
We're not tax attorneys.
Of a man named Michael.
And we're not lawyers. So be sure to do your own research. But for us here in Arizona, we decided the best thing to do was to form an LLC as kind of the parent overarching company.
Yes.
And LLC is kind of a nice step to begin with. It's what they call a pass-through entity.
From a tax perspective.
Which makes, accounting fairly simple. Anything you put into the business, any expenses, kind of just pass through to you personally. And same thing for revenue and income. Pass through to you personally.
But from a legal perspective, it's supposed to protect your assets more if someone wants to sue you.
Yeah. Provides you some legal protection. So in order to do that, we had to file, you don't have to, but you should file for an EIN, especially if you're going to have employees.
Which we plan to at some point.
And it just makes it easier, especially with partnerships. We don't all have to operate then, under one social. But anyway, you file for an EIN, which is simple, instant, and free. You get it as soon as you apply. For us, there was an online application we could apply for the LLC with Arizona Trade Commission. And that was fairly simple, too. I did it all online, did it via email, and I think it was $50. $50 to file the LLC. You put who your statutory agent is, basically who can mail be sent to? Who can we reach out for inquiries?
Who do we send legal notices to?
Yeah. Who gets the summons?
That would be Mike Kincaid.
The writ of garnishments, etc.
Send those to Mike's house, please. Thank you.
And then you could set it up as either a manager-managed LLC or a member-managed LLC.
Mm-hmm.
There are kind of advantages or disadvantages to both.
Yeah.
You know, and you could look into that. You could have managers, and then you could also have members and say that but only the managers have the power to act or make decisions on behalf of the LLC.
Yeah.
So we've done that. And then once you get your official filed, approved paperwork back, which ours came via email about 2 weeks after we submit it, it had further instructions that said unless you're in these specific counties, you need to also publish a notice in your local newspaper and run it for 3 consecutive days in this case, or 3 consecutive publications.
Yeah.
So we did our daily courier. And so 3 days in a row, that for us was $75, which I find very odd. I think it's kind of an antiquated process.
It is.
It really, I don't know what value. I guess it's just to make it legit. I don't know. Put a timestamp on it that you exist. And if there's anyone that wants to dispute it in some fashion, they can come dispute it. That's where I don't understand fully what the purpose of that is, but you have to do it or else I think it could hurt you.
Yeah.
So that's it. That's really essentially it. Once that's done, you're a business.
Yeah.
You're alive.
You're a business. Now, there's other things to consider depending on what kind of business that you are in, whether you're going to do wholesale, retail.
Sure.
Are you going to buy things at wholesale and resell them at retail? There's, different, resellers permits and things based on your county.
City licenses.
City licenses.
There's more to it.
State licenses maybe, or county if you're not within a city or an unincorporated area of a county. So there's more to it. We're not done yet.
No, exactly.
But the lesson that I took away from it is that my CPA was worth the money.
Yeah.
Now, Mikey's doing his own thing. He's rocking that TurboTax. TurboTax didn't do it for me last year.
Was it TurboTax?
It was TurboTax.
Or was it the user?
It was the user. But if I can't figure it out, it's not idiot proof.
Well, they have the thing. You type. Hey,
I know I did.
What do I do?
I did everything. And I did it wrong.
Okay.
So
it's not for everybody.
It's not for everybody.
Not for every situation.
It's not for every situation.
Even though they say it is.
I had a rental property, and I thought I put everything in correctly.
Yeah.
And it was not correct.
Like it.
And so the IRS reached out and said, yo, I think I'd like $4,500 from you. And I said, ooh, I think I'm going to go.
Really? Just write a check.
That was my first inclination. I was like, okay, I'll just pay it. And then I went to go see my CPA, my tax lady. And she's like, oh, no, you made a mess. You made a mess of things. You were wrong. You're dumb, but you weren't malicious. And so she went through, she took a look at everything I brought because I had all the paperwork. She looked at you. This was supposed to go here. This was supposed to go here. This number's supposed to go there. You're supposed to take this off, do this, do this, do this, do this. And I ended up getting, like $390 back. So instead of owing $4,500, I get almost $400 back.
That's insane.
It really is. And so then
I want the postcard.
I'm like, oh man, what am I going to do about coffee? And then I just told her, I just threw up all over. Blah, this is what I got. This is what I've been doing. And she's like, you're a hot mess. Bring me all this. We'll get you squared away. So,
well, I think the lesson too that you've learned, right, is you need to keep
receipts and statements.
And there may have been a folder created on our group drive over a year ago that says expense receipts.
Trying to get me to save receipts, but I'm like, I don't care. I just want wow boxes. I just want to deliver the wow customer experience. I want Christmas in the mail. I don't care what it costs. And Mike's like, that's fine. Could we please just keep the receipts for it? So,
well, and the reason being is because it's almost magical. And I say this being the first year that we've been legit. And we're like, okay, what are our expenses? When you key in, well, I spent a lot of money on stuff for Orange Cactus.
I don't want to know how much money I spent.
Yeah, but
is the deal.
It's brilliant when you see your tax liability going down.
Yeah.
And even your return going up.
Yeah.
If you get money back, or what you owe going down. Just by saying, well, yeah, I paid $500 for these boxes and all this stuff. It saves you money. And it makes sense to me why, there really is something, it's a write-off for the business. Like, oh, what does that matter? It's not like you get that money back. No, you do. You absolutely do. Especially if you're not making money yet as a business.
Especially if you're not making a lot of money.
It means that much more. So keep track of your expenses, your receipts.
And how you paid for it. That's the key.
Yeah.
The receipt and how you paid for it. Those two things are what you want to keep. So receipt, if it was cash, you need to find some way to track cash.
Yeah.
And then there's also some mileage that you can do, travel.
If you travel for it.
Percentage, there's different percentages
there's
that you can use.
QuickBooks has an app, and I think it's free for the most part. I'm sure some features are. But it will track. You can take a picture or save a PDF right to the expense right away. Yeah. Or if you travel somewhere, you can just say, I'm traveling, and it will track your mileage.
Yeah.
So then at the end of the year, it's already all done.
That's cool. That's what we need
to do. So something to look into. But anyway, that's where we're at. So yeah, we have more to go. One last bit of advice. Even if you do get an LLC, look to get the trade name. Or if you have a couple trade names that you might operate under, it's a good idea to snag those.
Yeah, and your logos, your artwork, the things that you decide you want to keep, you should get, registered trademarks and things like that, trade names, not only for your state, but also federally. It just helps. It just helps. They're little expenses that add up, but it's things you want to do.
Could avoid a big headache later.
Especially after you blow up.
Just making sure that that's available to you in the market you want to operate in. And furthermore, that no one steals it just because they see you're doing good things and they sneak in and grab that trade name. And now technically you can't do business as X, Y, and Z, even though your LLC's named that. You can't do business as that.
Yeah.
Because somebody else beat you to it.
And different states, different counties vary.
So consult your professional.
Yes.
Who will probably tell you everything we said is way off.
Bogus.
But at least it gets you going in that conversation.
Going in the right direction. Okay, cool.
And I think that's it. I think we need to go get another draft latte.
No, what we need to do is we need to try our next brew tip of the week for next week. I'm going to show you what it is. It comes from Adam Hollyfield.
Oh.
We'll talk about that next week.
Are you leaving it with a little
teaser? A little teaser for next week. All right.
We promise. More value next time.
Thank you so much for listening. And as always, you can find the show notes at orangecactuscoffee.com/episode 104. We'll catch you next time. Let it bloom, let it bloom. Bloom. No, let it take up the whole room. Let it bloom, let it bloom. But anyways.